One of the virtues of Harvey Penick's wonderful Little Red Book is sort of encapsulated in the title. It's its brevity. It's a little book because he doesn't spend a lot of time um, expounding on the ideas. His idea was that if it can be captured in a short paragraph, sometimes sentence, almost one word, then it's probably more useful in the context of trying to learn and, of course, play golf and even teach golf. He actually, in his introduction here, mentioned that he thought that this might be helpful to people in our profession, and I totally agree. So uh, he has a single sentence with the title, "What's the problem?" And he says, when teaching or learning what is wrong with a swing, first decide if the thing to work on is the swing itself or the angle of the club face at impact. And that's superbly valuable because I find myself doing this when I'm teaching all the time. At some point, it's important to convey to the individual, the golfer, what you're trying to deliver to the ball. Because they don't always have an idea. The idea of a swing is a constant motion, and the idea that that moment when it hits the golf ball has some significance can easily get ignored. The club face with a good golfer is turning. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that when you try to keep the club face from turning, you're actually turning it. What do I mean? The club face obviously is a flat surface, and we're trying to use it to launch a ball essentially up a ramp toward the target. And it's very tempting as you swing toward the ball is to keep the club face looking in that direction. Now, to do that, you actually have to rotate your hands and arms and, of course, the club subtly clockwise as you go through the ball. And that means that the club face is vulnerable to the drag of the club, the eccentric placement of the head, which is, other than with a putter, always to be one side of the axis of the shaft. And then, of course, any collision with the ground. And so all of those things are conspiring to shoot the ball off to the right. Well, you've already heard me say that the tendency when we're pulling on a golf club is for our arms and club to be dragged into that shape. And of course, we now compound it if we think our job's to keep the club looking that way, because again, you're rotating it to the right. So in fact, a good golfer throughout the entire downswing is actually rotating the club very subtly with the turn of the body. Now, you don't do it all the way through the downswing. There's a point halfway through the downswing where the body actually will stop and the arms and club will continue their travel to the left and be turning subtly all the way through the ball. That means that the impact with the ball doesn't distort and weaken the shot. So being aware of what we're trying to deliver to the ball with the club face is enormously valuable. Most usually, because of this vulnerability to hitting to the right, I actually exaggerate, which is I ask people to deliver the club with the face looking at their left leg. Of course, complete fiction and a joke, but it gives them an idea of how enthusiastic I want them to be about allowing the arms and club to rotate. Not wrists, I hasten to add. It's not just a flick of the wrist. Everything should be turning that way.